Welcome students. So in this presentation we are going to discuss on the concepts of arrays in C. So before we start working on arrays, let us understand why we need arrays in C programming. So let us consider a scenario where you need to find out the average of 100 integer numbers entered by the user. I am talking about 100 integer numbers entered by the user. So in C, you have two ways to do this. So one way is I will define 100 variables of type integer and then perform 100 scanf operations to store the entered values into those variables and finally calculate the average of them. This is the first method to calculate the average of 100 integer numbers. The second method is to have a single integer array to store all the values, then loop the array to store all the entered values in the array and later calculate the average. So in the first case, I have to first declare 100 variables of type integer and then use scanf statement 100 times so that I can read all the 100 values from the user and store it into the assigned 100 variables, which is quite difficult and the length of the program also increases. In the second way is to declare an array which stores all these values, 100 values, and later I can use these values to calculate the average. So in this case, in the second case, I need not declare 100 variables. There will be a single integer array variable which will hold all the 100 values and then I can calculate the average on those entered values. So which solution is better according to you? Obviously, you can see that the second solution is convenient to store same data type in one single variable and later access them using array index. So what is an array index? What is an array? How a single variable can store so many elements? All these things we are going to see in the next slide. So after knowing the importance of array in C programming language, let us understand the definition of array. So an array is a group or collection of elements having same data type and having same name. Once again I repeat, an array is a group of elements or collection of elements having same data type and having same name. So all arrays consist of contiguous memory location. To understand the meaning of array, we have a single variable which will be holding a group of elements of same type, that is same data type. Like I declare a variable of type integer, and the elements that I am going to store in that variable will be of integer type only. So that variable will hold only integer values and will not hold any other type of values like float or character. That's why the definition says that having same data type and same name. So all the elements will be of same type and all the elements will be referred by a single or same variable name. So let us understand with an example. For example, an integer array holds the element of type int, while a floating point array will hold all the elements of float type. So how to declare array in C? So let us understand the syntax. We have the data type. It can be of type float, integer, character, followed by the array name. It should be a valid identifier. Then we have the square bracket in which we specify the array size. So here data type, as I told, it can be of type float, integer or character. Array name is a variable name. It should be a valid variable name. And in the square bracket we are going to specify the array size. Now what is array size here? Array size is an integer value which tells how many elements we can store inside this array. So the size can be 5, means we are able to store only 5 elements. If I specify array size as 20, then I am going to store 20 elements inside that array. If I say 35, then I can store 35 such elements inside that array. So array size depends upon how many elements that you are going to store inside that array. It can be from 10 to 20 or anything. For example, I have taken mark as an array name which is of type float, and the size of this array is 5. I have specified 5 in square bracket, that is the size of the array. So we have an floating point array of 5 elements. So I can store at the max 5 elements inside the array. So at the max 5, I can store less than that. I can store 3, I can store 4, I can store 2, but I cannot store the elements beyond 5. So I cannot store 6, 7, 8 or 10 elements when I have declared size as 5. So here we declared an array mark of floating point type and its size is 5, meaning it can hold 5 floating point values. In the second example, we have num variable of type integer, and the size that I have specified is 35 inside the square bracket. So it's an integer array of 35 elements. So here we declare an array num of integer type and the size is 35, meaning it can hold 35 integer values. So in case if I want to store 36 elements inside the variable num, it is not possible because already I have declared the size as 35. The third example what I have is an array of characters which holds 10 elements. So CH is an array of character type and the size is 10, meaning it can hold up to 10 character values. So this is how we define an array. We understood the syntax of declaring an array with an example. So as we now know how to declare an array, now let us understand how to initialize an array. That means, how do I store the elements inside the array that I have declared? So it is possible to initialize an array during the declaration. That means whenever I create an array or declare an array, at that time only I can assign or initialize the value to the array. So for example, I have an array of integer called as marks of size 5. So it can hold up to 5 integer values. So I can assign these values to this array using in the declaration part like this. Like we have int marks, in square bracket I have specified the size as 5 equal to, and in curly braces I am going to specify the integer numbers. So I have specified it as 19 separated by comma, 10, comma 8, comma 17, comma 9, and then complete the curly braces and the semicolon. So here you can see that I have specified 5 integer values, that is 19, 10, 8, 17 and 9. So these are the 5 integer elements that I have initialized to an array marks. So in the previous presentation, as I told, the array size is at the max 5. So I can enter or initialize all the 5 elements, or I can assign less than that also. So you can also initialize an array like this, like I have specified in the second example. You can see I have declared an array marks of type integer, and in the square bracket I have not specified any size. Okay, so there is no size been specified. So in the declaration part only I have specified equal to 9 in the curly braces, again 19, comma 10, comma 8, comma 17, comma 9. Complete the curly braces and end with a semicolon. So here you can see that I have initialized 5 elements to an array where I have not specified the size. Even though we have not specified the size, however, the compiler knows its size is 5. How? Because we have initialized it with 5 elements. So automatically the number of elements that you have specified will be the size of the array. So even though if you don't specify the size, depending upon the number of elements that you are going to store inside that array, the size is going to be defined. The third way is to initialize the elements individually. Like I have declared again the marks as an array name of type integer and the size is 5, semicolon. This is just a declaration. Then the initialization is done individually, like mark of 0 equal to 19. So the first element 19 is stored at the index value 0. So 19 is the first element and it is stored at the index value 0. So what is this index value? We'll discuss. So mark 1 equal to 10. So 10 is the second element which is stored at the index value 1. So mark 2 is equal to 8. So 8 is the third element which is stored at the index value 2. So mark 3 equal to 17. So 17 is the fourth value which is stored at the index location 3, and mark 4 equal to 9 is the fifth element that I have stored at the index value 4. So here you can see that 19, 10, 8, 17, 9 are the 5 elements that I have stored in an array of marks. So the first element 19 is stored at the index value 0. So 0 is the index location for this variable value 19 that is stored inside this variable mark. So 10 is the next value that I have stored at index value 1, 8 is the next value, third value that I have stored at index location 2, and 17 is the fourth value that I have stored at the index value 3, and 9 is the fifth element that I have stored at index value 4. So this is how I can initialize the values individually inside the array to its respective index number. So it is possible to initialize an array elements individually. So in the previous presentation we saw how to declare an array. We also saw how to initialize the elements to an array. That is, how do we store the elements inside an array. So different ways of initializing an array, we saw it. Now let us learn how to access the array elements which we have stored. So you can access the elements of an array by indices, or we call it as an index. So I have declared an array of marks of type integer whose size is 5. So suppose you declare an array mark as mentioned above. The first element that is going to be stored in this array is at the index value 0, that is mark of 0, and the second element is stored in mark of 1, and so on. So whenever we are individually assigning the values, we saw that we had written mark of 0, mark of 1 and mark of 2 and up to mark of 4. That means all the 5 elements get stored into their respective index value. So this is how an empty array looks like. Here the array name is mark, and we can see the individual blocks of memory that has been reserved once you declare the size. So as I have declared the size as 5, so there are 5 contiguous memory blocks allocated by the computer to store the individual elements. So each element from this memory block can be accessed using this index value. So this index value that we have written here as in square bracket 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4 will help us to access the individual elements that I want to read from that particular specific block. So mark of 5, I have assigned 5 elements 19, 10, 8, 17 and 9. So you can see that the first element 19 is stored in the first memory block whose index value is 0. The second element 10 is stored in the second memory block whose index value is 1. The third element is stored in the third memory block, that is 8, whose index value is 2. The fourth element, that is 17, is stored in the fourth memory block, whose index value is 3, and the last element 9 is stored in the fifth memory block, whose index value is 4. So if I want to access the element 8 from the given list of array elements, then I can access it using the index value 2. So the few keynotes that we need to remember: arrays have 0 as the first index, so the index value starts from 0 and not as 1. So if I say mark of 1, that means I am reading the second value that I have stored in the index. So to access the first element inside an array that I have stored, I have to give the index value as 0. So the first element that will be stored at index value 0 and not at 1. So array's index value starts from 0. So in this example, what I have declared, when I say mark of 0, so I am accessing the first element from that array. In this case, I will be accessing the element 19. So if the size of array is n, here n is a variable. In this case, I have specified size as 5, so n value will be 5 here. So to access the last element, the n minus 1, that is 5 minus 1, so index is used. So in this example, it will be mark of 4. So if I want to access the last element of an array, I have to say n minus 1. So where n is 5, so 5 minus 1 is 4. So the index value 4 will return me the last element that is stored inside my array. So suppose the starting address of mark of 0 is 1000. The 1000 is the memory location of the first memory block. Then the address of mark 1 will be 1002, that is 1002. So the memory block of the second element stored is 1002. Similarly, the address of mark 2 will be 1004. The address of mark 3 will be 1006, and the address of element 9 will be 1008. So here you can see that the memory block is getting incremented by 2. This is because, as I have declared a data type as integer, as we all know, integer data type will allocate 2 bytes. So the size of integer is 2 bytes. So whenever a data type int is encountered, computer allocates 2 bytes to that particular variable, which I am going to store an integer value. But here you can see that as I have specified the size as 5, so 5 such memory blocks will be allocated. So suppose the first memory block allocated by computer is 1000. So after that, the first memory block will occupy 2 bytes. So the second element 10 will be stored in memory location 1002, because the first element has taken 2 bytes. So it will be 1000 plus 2, it will be 1002, where you can find the second memory block element available. Add a 2 to it, that is 2 bytes to it, as it has second element has taken 2 bytes to store. So at 1004 I can find the third element stored. 1006 I can see that the element 17 is available, and 1008 I can see that the element 9 is available. So the size of the array is 5 into 2 bytes. So total 10 bytes of memory location is made available to this array, and all these memory locations are contiguous. That means all are having the continuous memory location. So after understanding the importance of index value in accessing the element in an array, let us understand how to read the elements from the user and store them into the array. Also, we are going to see how do we print those elements of an array. So here is how you can take the input from the user and store it in an array. So as we all know, we use the scanf statement to read any values from the user. So as we are going to read multiple elements from an array, so we are going to repeat this input statement till we read the specified number of elements from the user. So for that we are going to use a for loop which will execute this input statement till we read all the values. So here, to read an input and store it in an array, I have used a for loop for int I, where I have initialized to 0 first. So as I have initialized 0, 0 is the first index value where the element will be stored. So I is less than 5 is the condition what I have specified, and I plus plus is the increment value. So inside this for loop I have a scanf statement which is going to read the value and store at the location that is specified by I. So here in this case the value of I is 0. So when this statement gets executed for the first time, at that time the value of I is 0. So the first element will be stored at value of 0, that is at the index location 0. When we increment the value of I, the I value becomes 1. Now 1 is less than 5, so I plus plus, the second value will be stored at value of I, that is 1. And this loop continues till the fourth element is stored. So when I is equal to 4, so 4 is less than 5, I plus plus, so at ampersand values of 4, that is at the fourth memory location index value, I am going to store the fourth element. So when I enter the loop next time where I value is 5, 5 is less than 5, the condition become false and we come out of the loop. So we are successfully reading 5 values from the user, where the first value is stored at index value 0, second at 1, 2, 3 and 4. So this is how we read the input from the user and store it in an array. So the second code specifies how do we print the elements of an array that we have stored inside it. So for that, as I am going to print all the elements inside an array, so I am going to put the statement printf repeatedly inside a loop. So here once again I am going to use the for loop. I have initialized I as 0, I is less than 5 is the condition, and plus plus I or I plus plus is the increment value that I am going to do. So inside this for loop I have a printf statement, printf %d values of I. So as the value of I value is 0, So value of I specifies the index value of the first element. So at this index value I, we can see there is a value that is stored, and that value is going to be printed, and this statement gets repeated till the last value is printed and the condition becomes false. So let us demonstrate the working of array using a simple C program. So we have a program which takes 5 values from the user and stores them in an array and prints the element stored in an array. So we are going to read 5 elements from the user and then display those elements that we have read from the user using arrays. So inside the main function we can see I have declared a variable values of type integer, and the size of this array value is 5. So I have declared an array name values of type integer and the size is 5. So I am going to read 5 integer value. So the next statement, that is a printf statement which displays a message enter 5 integer. So now I am going to read the input from the user and store the values in the variable values. So I'm going to use for loop because I'm going to read 5 elements. So this scanf statement will be called 5 times to read the 5 different elements entered by the user. So for that I'm going to use for loop so that I can call this statement repeatedly. So for int of I equal to 0. So I have initialized a variable I to 0. So I less than 5, I plus plus. So in this body of for loop I have a scanf statement which is an input statement which is going to read the integer value. So %d format specifier of integer. So ampersand values of I. So here the value of I is 0. So at the index location 0 I am going to store the first element that the user is going to enter. So once again the loop repeats. So the value of I will be incremented to 1. So 1 is less than 5. Condition is satisfied. I plus plus. I enter the loop. So once again the scanf statement is executed and values of I, that is 1, is going to hold the second element that is been entered by the user, and this process continues till the condition becomes false. So when the value of I becomes 5, the 5 is less than 5, which is false, we come out of the loop. So here you can see that we have successfully read 5 integer values, that is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So assuming that these are the 5 elements that the user has entered. Okay, now we have successfully read and stored the 5 integer values inside the array values. Now it's time for displaying the elements that we have stored inside this array. So I use a printf statement displaying the integers. So we have a for loop which is going to print the values continuously. So I have put the printf statement which is going to display the values that are stored inside the array. So as this statement is going to be repeatedly called, I put it into a loop. We use a for loop here. Again I have initialized the value of I as 0. So as we know that the array index value starts from 0, so I have initialized I equal to 0 here. So I less than 5, so 0 is less than 5, condition is satisfied. I plus plus, I enter inside the for loop body. We have a printf statement here So percentage d double quotes comma values of I. So I value is 0. So at value of 0 I have stored the first element, that is 10, and the 10 gets displayed. So once again I enter into the for loop, so where the value of I is incremented now to 1. So 1 is less than 5, the condition is satisfied. Once again I enter the loop of for, so where value of I is 1, so I value is 1, I print the second element stored, here it in this case is 20, and this process repeats where all the 5 elements are printed. So when I value reaches 5, so 5 is less than 5, so condition becomes false and we come out of the loop. So in the output we can see I have read 5 integers 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50, and similarly I have printed those values, so integer values, that is 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. So this is a simple program to read the elements in an array and display the elements from an array. So here is the second program to demonstrate the use of array. So here we are going to calculate the average of n numbers entered by the user. So here we are going to find the average of n numbers. So n is not specified, it can be 10 numbers, it can be 20 numbers, it can be 50 numbers. So we can have an average of n numbers, so n can be anything. So inside the main function I have declared an array named marks whose size is 10. So at the max 10 elements I can store. I can increase the size up to 100 also, depends upon how many elements that I want to store. Then I have another variable declared as I comma n comma sum equal to 0 and average. So these are the variables that I am going to use in my program. So the next statement that gets executed is the printf statement. So enter the number of elements. So I am asking a user how many elements that you want to enter. So scanf percentage d ampersand n. So n is going to hold the number that the user is going to enter here. Suppose here user enters as 5, so he wants to find the average of 5 numbers. So I assume that the value of n is here 5, so user has entered as 5. So for I equal to 0, I less than n, in this case I have assumed that user has entered n value as 5. So I plus plus printf enter the number. So I am asking a user to enter the number. Okay, so I plus 1, that is I am asking him to enter the first number. Okay, as I value is 0, 0 plus 1 is going to be 1, so it will display a message to the user that enter number 1. So the scanf statement will read the first element ampersand marks of I. So here I value is going to be 0. So at the first element that I am going to store the first value. So similarly here what will happen? After that there is another statement written inside this for loop. So sum plus equal to marks of I. So here what happens? Sum is equal to sum plus marks of I. So marks of I contain the first value, sum is equal to 0. So 0 plus whatever value that I have stored inside this array at the index location will be added with sum, and the result is stored in sum. Once again the loop repeats, I value becomes 1, so 1 is less than n, so I gets incremented, I plus 1, I am asking the user to enter the second number. So he enters the second number, and then once again I perform sum is equal to sum plus marks of I. So the previous value that is stored in sum will be added with the next value that I have read, and which is stored in the second index value, and the total value is again stored in sum, and this repeats till the condition becomes false. When the last value is read, and then when the last element is read, total 5 elements are read and the condition become false, we come out of the loop, and then we have a formula to calculate the average equal to sum divided by n. So where n is 5, sum is the total sum of all the 5 numbers that I have entered, and then 5 divided by total number of sum value that is stored will give me the average, and then I print the average. So average equal to percentage d average. So this is how we have a program to calculate the average of n numbers. So in the output we can see I have asked a user to enter a value of n. He has entered as 5. So the first number is 45, second number entered by the user is 35, third number entered is 38, fourth number entered is 31, and fifth number entered is 49. So after calculating the sum of all these 5 numbers, then I divide it by 5 and I get the average as 39. So in this presentation we saw the definition of an array, how array is declared, how the arrays are initialized, and how do we access the elements that are stored inside the array with simple programs. Thank you.